Hi, Trevor here, reflecting on life through music. Thank you for stopping by. Well, coming in again today, you're very, very welcome. I trust you enjoyed my last video from John Parr and through his song, Say What You Need to Say. We talked about how important that is, but how tricky it can be and what we can do to make it easy. So I trust you found that one encouraging. We're going from there to 1952 in Workshop, Nottinghamshire. This guy was born, and it was certainly in the 1980s that this guy actually started to find a bit of a career, starting with the song Naughty Naughty in 1985. This clip is an interesting one, and the guy we're talking about is John Parr. Now we'll get on to the song that you have to talk about when you talk about him in a minute, but Naughty Naughty, it all starts, the clip's an interesting one. By the way, it came off self-titled album. This song got to number 23, so pretty big in the scheme of things. Now, girl and boy at the start, guy's kind of thinking, I want to do this sort of thing, and the girl's not interested. He ends up daydreaming about going in a Rolls Royce with all these other girls, and they end up back together at the end. So interesting clip, this one. Good little storyline, absolutely. So we've got the official clip of that one below. But in 1985, David Foster heard about John Parr and thought, hey, I've got this movie, St. Elmo's Fire. It's all about a bunch of kids growing up in college and doing the sort of stuff that we could do. Could you write a song for us? And so John Parr said, yeah, what a great idea that one would be. And out he came with St. Elmo's Fire, Man in Motion. So below we've got the official and a live version of this one. This song went to number 1, stayed there for 2 weeks, and was nominated for a Grammy Award. Don't you love John Parr's voice? It's just so strong. It's just so effortless and so passionate. He's just the perfect guy to sing these full-blown rock songs. And St. Elmo's Fire was one of these songs of the 1980s, pretty much. Inspired by wheelchair athlete, and very much the story of, hey, resilience, patience, perseverance, all that sort of stuff. But in the case of a wheelchair athlete, it just takes a little bit more than that, right? You don't just sort of get up and walk. You've got to get your wheelchair out. You've got to do all the stuff that you need to do to be able to just keep going and keep resilient. And we look at athletes like this and we think, wow, that's amazing. That's incredible. Gee, that's just so inspiring. And we just stay in our chairs and watch them. Do we become the man in motion, as this song talks about, and actually make some changes, even if it's just a small one? Because, you know, if you are in a bit of a rut and a bit of a lull, and you're waiting for somebody to come along and to rescue, well, that rescuing's not going to happen, is it? You've got to be the man in motion. You've got to be the woman in motion. You're the one that needs to move forward, because if you don't, you're just going to stay where you are. And I think in the context of St. Elmo's Fire, the movie, which is the typical kids going through college thing and learning about life, it's all about their hopes and dreams about where things are going and where the futures may be lying. But they've got to take steps along the way to discover themselves, work out what they're made of, and to enable their lives to happen. We've got to take steps in this world. We really, really do. Sometimes we talk about this thing of we're at a crossroads. Well, interesting thing about crossroads, you can keep going straight ahead. You can keep going straight ahead, and you know, and that's it. You might have paused for a while and thought about it, but you keep going straight ahead, and that straight ahead could mean, hey, I'm not going to make any changes. Or maybe life is a little bit more like, hey, we're at a T-junction. We can't keep going straight ahead, because if we do, it's not going to work out. So maybe we've got to take a left or right turn. Now, I don't really think it matters which way you go, to be honest with you, as long as you take a step in a different direction. It might all just loop around to come back to the same place. Either, obviously, you know, if you like, I could stay in my hometown, or I can move to the other side of the country to study. Well, obviously that is a big decision to make. But going around the corner just that little bit more, life will progress and life will move because you've taken a step. Now, if you choose to study in your hometown, well, that's all good. You're still progressing. And I think that's what we need to do in this life. We need to keep moving. We need to be that man in motion. There's nothing like this song, Say No More Fire, to do that. It's such an inspirational song, this one. And, we owe it to ourselves to make the most of the life the best we can. It was Steve Jobs that actually said, if today was my last day, would I be doing what I was doing today? And if he did that too many days in a row, he would make changes. And he also went on to say, interestingly, that because life has an end point to it, please don't make the mistake that thinking you've got anything to lose, because it all comes to an end point at one point. So these are really, really inspiring stories, these ones. If you put it in the concepts of a wheelchair athlete as well, Rick Harris, I think his name was, it's quite amazing to think what we can actually do as human beings. But all this amazing stuff that human beings can do all starts off with a step. So if you're in a bit of a rut right now, what step can you take to actually move your life forward to be a man, a woman in motion? So I trust you found that one encouraging today. In 1985, because John was getting renowned as a pretty good songwriter, Roger Daltrey, obviously the front man from The Who, said, hey, I want to sing a song about drummer Keith Moon, who died. And Keith was considered one of the best drummers in the world when he was going around. And so Under the Raging Moon is a great take on Keith Moon's drumming style. He was a freak of nature, absolutely. And so to be drumming and singing with that guy drumming was just led The Who to incredible heights. And so Roger Daltrey came out with that song in 1985. A few other movies, Quicksilver, 3 Men and a Baby, and The Running Man. We've got the official clip of Restless Heart, which is the theme song from that one. John Parr really just has a beautiful take on life, and a really good way of writing songs that really get you inspired. And so we've got a great official clip of Restless Heart. He also contributed to another movie with the song Always on My Mind. We've got the official clip on that one as well. So John Parr, in his own small way, I suppose, has contributed to this legacy of music, having one of these songs of the 1980s. Of course, 1985 was the year when everything came out. And so there was a lot of inspiration around at that time of music as well, because everyone was releasing albums, and good ones, absolutely. And so I look back at the 1985-86 period with a lot of fondness, absolutely. But for John Parr, he certainly has contributed to this legacy of this thing called music between 1984 and 2012. So that's a pretty big career as well. 5 studio albums, 1 live album, and 22 singles. And so it's great to give this guy a bit of a go today with one of these songs of the 1980s, amongst with the many other these songs of the 1980s, because there was a stack of them, as he captured the essence and groove and feel of the movie St. Elmo's Fire. So it's good to be able to give this guy a bit of a go today. So the links to those 4 clips, is it 4? Or 5 clips are in the description below. And I've also included my last video from John Mayer. If you want a recap on him, feel free. Well, if this is your first time to Life Reflections Through Music, or you've come back for another one, it's great to see everybody here. Well, next time we're going to come on to Aussie John Paul Young. So until then, I'll catch you around. Bye for now.